Cześć. I'm Piotr, co-CEO of Boldare, and you are watching Agile Product Builders Tech Edition, a 25-minute series for product builders. In this episode, we go deeper into real-world AI development workflows, as we are interested how developers actually use these tools beyond the hype. Today's guest is Michał Czmiel, senior software developer and tech lead here at Boldare. Michał is joining, as you guessed, for the second time on the show. So we have a chance to talk about what's changed in the state of AI since we last spoke. And it's been 4 months ago already, Michał. So Michał has been with Boldare for over 7 years now. And he has shaped some of the most successful products we've built. He's a part of the guild of AI early developers, where we're experimenting with the newest tools. And at the same time, he's building an AI first product from the ground up. I think it's a nice welcome chapter for you, Michał. It's great to have you. Welcome to the show.
Yes, very nice. I hope I can, live it up to it. But yeah, nice to be here.
Very nice to be here. So as a quick warm-up, it feels like AI revolution is moving at lightning speed, maybe even faster than JavaScript frameworks, you remember last decade. What do you think about it?
I think you can approach it from different angles. Definitely in terms of tooling, it's very fruitful. We had a period when there was a new AI agent coming up. Well, maybe not agent, but like tools for building AI applications. So calling LLM callings, tools, cost analysis, proxies, gateways. Now I feel like we are in the hype cycle for coding agents. Maybe it has to deal with lots of those high investment evaluations and the big money that you can build your own agent software, sell it, and I feel like we are progressing. I think some of the people expected a higher leaps in terms of a new frontier model like the GPT-5, but I still think it's an improvement over the next one. So I think it's a very interesting time right now.
Yeah, definitely. It's really interesting. So tell us and walk us through how is your typical coding workflow with AI, let's say from small one-shot changes to more complex tasks where you use plan documents or step-by-step scaffolding. How does it look like?
All right. So I think what changed from the last webinar to this one is I try to use the agentic experience more often. And in terms of adding new code, developing new features, I would highlight three main approaches, three workflows, as you said. First is just a one shot, is where you specify prompt for usually a small changes, like adding a new test case to existing suite, or add a new field to the database and return this field from the REST API, or add a new page in existing onboarding flow. So you have to feel in your project like what is the best scope for this one shot, but I would say most of the tasks can be one-shotted by agents right now. And when I mean agent, I primarily use Cursor agent, but we'll talk about other tools later. And if the output is big, if the output is wrong, if it couldn't be one-shotted, often it's that the task was too big, or just your prompt was not specific or too vague. Then the second approach I like to employ is the plan document. So either I write the plan myself and AI just refines it, so pokes the holes in the plan, suggests improvements, or AI prepares the plan and I read through it, edit it, and then the agent executes this plan. This plan is often it's 100% times written in a markdown file. It's just better to edit, you can open it in a full screen rather than having like a small prompt window. You can use your keyboard shortcuts for this plan, and also tab completion if that also speeds up a lot. And here for the plan, I use it for like a larger features. For example, we already have a Gmail sign up or flow. Let's add a sign in with Microsoft, right? Or also for something called, I call it intelligent refactors. So not only search and replace, but also search and replace if, or search and replace when do this, or when do this. And just a final tip on the plan approach. Often the plans generated by AI have lots of fluff that is necessary for humans, like estimations, observations, risks. And it's my opinion to prune. That's the best way to just remove it once before you feed it to AI agent, so it doesn't pollute the context. And my normal workflow that I use for maybe like a complex features, or for, let's say, like a big user story. So I research the plan. So I research the feature. In the previous webinar, I mentioned that I was using AI Studio by Google. Now I switched to using the Claude UI because I like that it gives more compact answers. It doesn't, you can specify whether it should be thinking or not. And I also like the style that it converses. So once I have the idea in my mind, when I want to build, I manually scaffold most of the structure in the code because I would like to keep the control and guide the AI into some specific approaches. Then the agent does the unit of work. So I prompt the agent to do something. Then runs the automatic validation. So all the linting, type checking, tests, building the app. And this is triggered by LLM. Then I do validation by myself of this piece of code. So I review the code. If something is terribly wrong, I run it again with an improved prompt. If it's good enough, I make manual changes. Then I commit this piece of code, and I repeat this this flow. So instead of creating like a crazy prompt saying create this whole onboarding flow with X pages with this, I try to still use AI agent, but work in this like unit of work approaches.
Yeah, and I still think we are at the early stage of discovering these workflows, especially in a sphere of a team, right? Because in more complex tasks, you have a lot of artifacts you can share, not only with other engineers like software engineers, but also with quality assurance engineers. Like last time we had Milena, and for instance, documentation is becoming something which is right now not only needed not only for users but for the creators, whatever is it if it's a LLM creator or yourself, it doesn't matter. But you're still owning the code, right? You're not letting the ownership go for an agent. So do you already have security measures that you apply in this setup? I'm even thinking on hashtag AI generated line markings, or obviously code reviews, which should be mandatory, but the things like API keys or personal data being pasted in LLMs. What do you do in this case?
Yeah, so you can spot AI generated code. Often it has a lot of comments, but yeah, it's not necessarily bad. But in terms of security measures in a team, you said very good thing that it's like a team effort right now, right? Everybody has a coding agent. So one of the security measures is to make sure that all of your developers know what are the limitations, have agreed on some certain, rules or standards. So like the code that could be malicious or isn't performant or could cause some issues won't enter the code base. I think the crucial thing is still like a mandatory code review culture. And I think you should be the first reviewer, even if you have only a fragment of AI generated code, even just the tab completion. I think you should look at it as if you didn't write the whole thing. So I think the code review should spot a lot of things. Of course, you can also add like a GitHub Copilot or other tool that could pre-review the code. Lots of tools like a static analysis could be included. Those could be at the automatic step after LLM finishes. There are a bunch of tools that search for secrets or other hard-coded things. One thing that there has been a famous attack in the previous weeks when one of the malicious infected library used local Claude code to search your code base to your directories for any secrets, environmental variables, and other API keys. So this is not super related, but often those of those agents, like cursor Claude code, can access all the files that you have. And I personally prefer, in terms of secrets, fetching them dynamically. For example, when I need to run some script, I can fetch those dynamically from something like AWS parameter store or other certain, password managers can also have this. They also have a CLI tools that they can inject some security environments into your running process. So yeah, I wish I had some magic solution to the security problem in AI, but I think it's still that like human oversight.
Yeah, but we have to remember that we still own the code, and the second thing is maybe it should be a dialogue in the team. So a team contract or a policy is a good way to go. Okay, but outside of pure coding, which AI use case has been the biggest game changer for you? I'm thinking about diagrams or log
Mhm.
analysis, refactoring, documentation.
Yeah, I would say all the chores that some people, included me in the team, didn't want to deal with, or they were like lower priority. For example, some stakeholder or external team, they want to have up-to-date documentation of all the on all the functionalities that one service of ours provides, right? And like keeping this documentation up can be tough, and it can go out of sync easily. So you can use just like a AI agent. Hey, please analyze those files and generate a Markdown text. Then you can run like a thing called Pandoc, which translates a Markdown to PDF, and voila, you have a very nice report. Also, I did one project where we had to move one system to one database to another one, and there has been bunch of like wrong data, invalid formatting, invalid casing, and what I found interesting is I made the agent have this loop, and I think that's a very good solution for all the problems. So keep the agent closed in this loop. So in this worst case, like here's the CSV files, here are the problems, and here are the tools. It was using a pandas tool in Python for cleanup and CSV processing. Unless everything is fixed, you need to iterate over it and just remove all the issues. There are a bunch of other use cases I found. In terms of documentation, I'm a big fan of diagramming and creating concepts in Excalibur, and those are often very like low fidelity, maybe not the best to showcase to somebody. So I can paste it to an AI agent and say, please generate a diagram as a code in a plant UML or something from this like low fidelity diagram, or I can even add it to to a prompt to implement something. I think there's also the case for like self-review, like please debug this code, please improve it, or please analyze some issues that can be that this code can have. In terms of refactoring, one team in Boulder used AI to conduct a migration of Symfony framework. They had one version and they wanted to migrate to another one. They run the AI agent with Opus, Sonnet for Opus, which created a plan for the migration, and later other agent executed it. So, and the final thing on the other use cases, I think having this AI buddy, it's also very empowering to cross your to different areas. For example, if you are mainly a front-end developer, you can use this AI buddy to learn a bit more about databases, endpoints, and contribute to that part of the system. If you're a backend engineer, maybe you would like to cross more over to the DevOps side and use AI to help you with for example, Terraform or CDK, yeah, and also I think those agents are perfect for like prototypes or landing pages. Those used to take a lot of time to develop, but now can be easily coded.
Yes, I think you brought a nice, a very interesting thing that this LLMs actually can give agile team more multidisciplinary inside of it. So that's the one thing. And also, when I hear developers are talking about documentation, I see there's some kind of change. So yes, the boring stuff can be fun again. So that's great. Okay, when we last talked about 4 months ago, the big shift was AI first ID cursor, and now Claude Code has also become mainstream, and I think maybe even 50-50 at Boulder among developers. How does it look on your side today?
So I tested both, to have some opinions and just to get a feel for that. But my primary tool still is Cursor, and recently I've been actually testing it with GPT-5. It had some problems at the beginning with this intelligent router that detected which models to run and with performance, but they have slowly improved it. So yeah, I'm very very happy with this setup now. Of course, interchangeably I use Cursor with Claude Sonnet models, as sometimes the GPT-5 is just takes very long to process, but still I think this like full package that you get with Cursor, it's still for me very, very nice. And also I still use this tab completion a lot, so I write some of the code still manually, if you want to call it that. But the other approach I tested is with the Claude Code, and there I used the Z editor, which they added a very nice also a tab completion model. Actually, they have been adding lots of features like UI for Claude Code. They are even now working on like a new Git. Something like Git, but for AI agents collaborations. And I feel like in Claude Code, you are mostly going into this the delegate approach, where you don't read every diff. And I think it's just also a simpler tool in terms of approach, because it doesn't have a UI, doesn't have all the because the cursor indexes your code base, right? So it adds another layer of some complexity. And I think Claude Code is much more simpler. And I think that also it's also very, very, very nice. I found it very nice for like smaller projects where I was more likely to, be more, I don't need to dive deep into this error. Here's the screenshot of the problem. Please fix it. So it's more a shift towards more AI driven than like a manual code driven. But yeah, I also seen some very nice, interesting, use cases. Some people installed the Cloud Code on like a server running, so you can SSH to the server. Hey, say, hey Claude, please write a Python script that serves something, and then you just run it, or it could configure the whole server. But yeah, that's basically it. And but maybe just to close to this topic, that we have this shift, right? Because some people use Cursor, some use Cloud Code, some use a Copilot. I think as long as you are productive and as long as the there is this agreement of what we are using, I think it's fine. I think most of the tools have now caught up, and now it's the matter of pricing, because those very different tools often different pricing models, where it's whether it's API based, API key based, or it's like a subscription based. And also the access to the models, right? Because, for example, Cloud Code is limited, right? Only to models from Anthropic, which isn't the issue right now, as those are the top models for coding. But who knows what will happen in 4 months, right?
Yeah, exactly. Um, I so can I maybe oversimplify the thing that for you, Cursor is still more advanced and better IDE. On the other hand, we have a Cloud Code, which is a little bit simpler. You don't have to abandon your favorite IDE, and you still can benefit of many AI enhancing functions.
Something like that. I mean, the ideal combination would be
Of
to
course,
have.
it's starting Flame War, so
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
I feel like the ideal combination would be to have, Cloud Code with a cursor tab completion and the div statement, which I don't know if it's like a viable approach financially, right? Because you pay both subscriptions, but yeah, I think that's the best approach.
Oh, we have to try it. Okay, and I think you've tried it, but maybe that's for another one. Well, let's go to the best practices working with AI agents. Prompt validating results, and deciding when to trust the agent
Yes.
versus do it manually,
Yes,
right? It's
exactly.
still a big decision for you as a developer.
Yeah, so recently I've shifted more into AI first. That I'm sometimes even curious how AI would solve this problem, rather than and then me being inspired, and I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe it's a good approach, but let's try it, or let's throw it out and start with something new. There are a bunch of best practices that I could talk about. One, I think it's really important, is you should be driving the AI agents not only with your rules, and I think we haven't mentioned rules in the previous webinar, but those are just essentially those, whether it's CloudMD or agents.md or cursor rules, there should have like an elevator pitch about their product. What tools can the project can the AI coding agent use? What are the guidelines? What to do? What shouldn't it do? What's the product structure, so it doesn't have to search everything every single time. And this automatic validation, I highly recommend attaching this sentence saying, after making it change, please make sure that the tests are valid, the types are valid, and the linting is for example valid. So then you have this like this loop that agent can finish the code, can finish the implementation, and then something is broken. So it would just, automatically fix it and run it again. Another tip is some tools offer they are more advanced. They can run automatically only on the test, only on the changed files. So they don't have to run the whole suite for the whole the project, only those that have changed. Other, improvements or best practices I found is you should drive the agent with your code. So I've seen that lots of solutions feature mocks or very, not very testable code. So you can start using dependency injection and maybe some patterns that will guide the AI towards a good solution. Yeah, but you mentioned, I think, MCP in the another webinar. But yeah, one of the big use case that I've seen some developers in Boulder use is the context 7 MCP for making sure that the AI has up to date the documentation and all the context needed for all the features. But to close down my my rant here, I think I think most of the tips can be boiled down to your prompts. And from what I learned, I try to each my prompt has this 3 parts. First is the context, so analyze these files, understand this mechanism, make sure you look here. Then there's the action, so what we want to do, exactly, very specific. And I think this would be also my second biggest tip. Use very specific action, like you would say, like you would talk to another advanced developer. So use dependency injection, use server actions, use indexes, very specific wording. And at the end, the third part would be limitations. So for example, think before you execute, don't worry about backwards compatibility, or simplify this code without, changing any functionality. Yeah.
Thank you, Michał. It was very valuable for me, and thanks for all these practical insights. I hope the viewers also liked it as I do. So before the wrap up, last question. Do you think the AI workflows are already ready to become the default way of working?
So speaking with other colleagues, I feel like, as I mentioned before the webinar, there's this lever, right? So here is like the more manual coding, and here is more agentic coding. I feel like I'm, still in the lower part, because once you hear all the blog posts or from like a major LLM labs like Anthropic, they said most of the code for Claude Code is written by agentic coding, and I think that's the goal. I think implementing those practices, and the practices your team will come up. And the goal is to have the agent do as much of like boring work, or just like you do the thinking, but the agent implements it, so it can increase your velocity, and you make sure you deliver more. And also keep have said that making sure the quality is still there. But yeah, I think the agentic workflows is a way to go. Yeah.
Very interesting. Thank you very much, Michał. That's it for today's episode of Agile Product Builders Tech Edition. Thanks for joining us, and stay tuned for more practical insights on how AI is reshaping the way we build software. Thank you.
Thank you.